This is what's left of Kherson International Airport. We've come here to see the destruction. During the Russian occupation of this city, Ukraine hit the airport more than 60 times. It became a joke among the Ukrainians that if you're bad when you go to hell, this Chernobyevka, the name of this airport, is where you'd come. The city, Kherson city, has been largely spared the sort of scorched earth destruction that we've seen in other frontline battlegrounds, but it seems that a lot of the battle, a lot of the wrath of the Ukrainian artillery was directed here once the Russians had taken over this airfield. And this is what's left of the terminal building. The entrance to the airport is protected by a really quite elaborate and well-built network of dugouts, trenches and fortified Russian positions, clearly now all long abandoned. We've come to an old vehicle yard, which is actually a Ukrainian military position, so there's a lot of old Ukrainian kit here, disused, abandoned stuff, scrap, but the Russians used this as a position as well, and so there's a bunch of Ukrainian soldiers who are sifting through it, looking for any unexploded ordnance, any missiles, bombs, mortar shells that haven't gone off. We can also see the old Russian positions. They made firing holes in the walls, they barricaded positions with rocket boxes, and this was clearly another place that was hit quite heavily in the fight to retake Kherson. This is another Russian position. It looks as though one of the soldiers has taken part of the Ryanair ticket office down to give themselves some shelter. Over there across the field, a truck marked with the telltale Z of the invasion. A rubbish pit with Russian rations, and next to it the laundry line with the trademark blue and white striped t-shirts that normally denote Russian airborne forces. Behind me on the runway we found two Ukrainian helicopters, what looks like a sort of Mi-35 gunship, and behind it a transport helicopter. It looks like they were probably left here on the first day of the war when the Russian troops seized Kherson. Now what's interesting is that Russian soldiers have spray painted a Z on the fuselage of the aircraft. They also appear to have rummaged around inside. It looks like the cockpit has been stripped for parts. There's a similar story in the back here. It suggests they may have been using this aircraft to keep theirs in the air. This one looks like it might have suffered a direct hit. The remains of the metal structure, which is buried underground, totally scorched. And on this one, you can see here burnt wood and the remains of the molten metal. Behind the destroyed aircraft, you can see the earthworks, the remnants of what look like Russian fortifications, the wreckage of burnt out Russian vehicles. It looks like this plane behind me has been used as something of a larder. It's full of food supplies, jars of food and boxes, tin food that may have sustained the soldiers who were living in the fortified positions around these aircraft. These are old aircraft. These may not even have been in use. You can see that the tarmac around, there's grass growing up. It hasn't been particularly well maintained, so it wasn't an active fleet of aircraft, but this was a taxiway that might feasibly have been used for landing planes. And so what the Russians have done is they've dug a trench across it at one end and they've mined that at the other.